From the John DeVito Broadcast Center, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Paranormal Radio with Bob Tricek on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. So sit back and enjoy Paranormal Radio. And now here he is, the number one king of Paranormal Radio, Mr. Bob Tricek.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much, John. It's always a joy doing these shows here, and I guess I'm still, in your eyes anyway, I'm still king. So thank you very much for allowing me to do these shows. It's just a joy. I would like to, before I even do anything with the show here, before we even start doing it, we just have a few announcements and some acknowledgments I'd like to make. And I'd like to thank Linda Wilkes last month for coming on and doing such a fantastic show. Linda is just dynamite. If you really want to listen to a great show, someone that has a lot of information to say and interesting information and factual stuff, my gosh, listen to that show. Listen to Linda Wilkes. She's just a phenomenal speaker and just a great personality and just a wonderful person, inside and out. She's just great. So listen to the last month's show with Linda Wilkes on it. And then also, too, don't forget to buy her book. Go up on Amazon, order that book. You won't be sorry. It's a fantastic book that she wrote there. Okay, geez, where do we start here? Oh, thanks to the folks over at the Gathering Lighthouse, too, for having me there. I was there a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I was there on a Friday evening there doing a talk on ghosts and haunts and paranormal and doing a little palm reading lesson with them there. And they're just a nice bunch of folks they get out there and that. So look up online, go up on Facebook, the Gathering Lighthouse. They have their page there and all sorts of activities and things they have going on there. You're free to just about any day of the week. They have something going on there that you can participate in. Look up what they got going on there. They just have all kind of phenomenal stuff there. And I'll be coming back out there in October. I'll be out there doing another presentation with them. Let me see here. Who else do I want to acknowledge? Oh, the LSIP Apollo Park District had me come and do their Family Fun Fest again, too. I had a palm reading table out there with that, too. And, boy, I was like nonstop with palm readings. A lot of that, I think, had to do with the weather because that was that really bad Saturday night where we had that lot of rain. And, unfortunately, that was the night they picked to do their Family Fun Fest. And I was in a tent, so I had a lot of people coming into the tent to keep dry and that. So thank you to LSIP. Just about every year they have me come out there and do that, and thank you to them. We'd like to also mention Mr. Tim Little and Steve Little. Which one is which now, John? Is Steve the son?
Steve is the father.
Steve is the father, Tim is the son. Tim is the one that's the fan of Paranormal Radio. Mr. Tim Little, thank you, sir. I found out through Mr. John DeVita here that you are a fan of Paranormal Radio, that you'll enjoy the show and that, and thank you so much. It's nice to have loyal listeners and loyal fans of the show. And you know what, Tim? If you're such a fan of the show, why don't you pop in sometime and just come on and be on the show? Even if you don't want to talk on the show, just come on as a listener or an observer and then meet the folks that we have on here and we do it. Hopefully today you come on, we'll have like a panel of folks here and that, and we'll have you come on for that. Good Lord, why not? It'd be nice to do these shows with an audience sometimes. So that's Mr. Tim Little and Steve Little, father and son. Son is Tim. He's the one that's the big fan of Paranormal Radio. Yeah, so Mr. Tim Little, I haven't met you. Don't know who you are, but I'd like to. So if you want, come on the show and we'll shake hands and you can sit and participate in the show. Okay. The Bridgeview Park District, just doing a couple announcements here. Bridgeview Park District coming up in September. And they say, why are you announcing this in September? Well, the reason I'm announcing some September announcements is because this is going to be the last Paranormal Radio show that I tape for the summer. We'll do this one now, June. It's June 24th. We're taping the show. The broadcast will probably be up and running in a couple of days or so, depending on John Chiconda, how busy his schedule is and how soon he posts it. And I'm doing that because then for July and August, we kind of take the summer off, and then we continue the shows back up again in September. And some of these events I want to announce for September because I'm not exactly sure where they're going to fall. I should say I know where the dates of the events, but I don't know where the show is going to fall. It depends on scheduling the guests and whatever. They may come on after the event's already over, and then we won't announce it, or it'll come on real early, and then we can announce things that are coming up. So the Bridgeview Park District is actually going to have a paranormal vendor fair, is how they're calling it. So if you're looking to, you do some sort of readings, some sort of mediumship, you sell something paranormal related, you collect voodoo and you sell voodoo, you sell dolls, you sell potions and magic, gree from New Orleans, whatever it is that you do, crystals and whatever you're into, give Kylie a call over at the Bridgeview Park District. That's 594-708-594-1818. Get yourself a table over there. This will be September 21st. They're going to do this. It's a first for them. It's something that they're trying out there. They want to give this a shot and see how well that goes over. So if you're interested in participating in this, that number again is 708-594-1818. That was the year the state of Illinois was founded, 1818. Don't ask me why I remember these things, but I do. Okay, and then Neil Gibbons and Tommy Lineweber and Steve Lineweber, and then occasionally here and there me with them too, with the folks from Graveside Paranormal. They are going to be doing a September 7th Paranormal Fest, and this is going to be over at Chet's Melody Lounge, which is over on Archer Road. They're right across the street from Resurrection Cemetery, right there in Resurrection Mary Country, and they're going to be doing a whole Paranormal Fest. So it's going to be a little more than a vendor fair type thing. They're going to have vendors there, so also, too, if you're interested in that, you give them a buzz and tell them that you're interested in doing a table or something over there with them. And also, too, they're going to be doing a seance, and they're going to be doing an investigation, some different things going on there with them. Go up on the Graveside Paranormal Tours site, and also they have a Graveside Paranormal site alone. And it should be on, I'm not sure exactly which one it's on. I know it's on one or the other. And then also, too, on my Facebook page, a lot of times I share these things from other folks, too, because I like to promote other things too wherever I can for other people. So I don't have a phone number for Graveside, but just go up on their website and you'll see a picture there, and it tells all about it and everything, and you can get yourself a table for it. Or even if you just want to come and participate, you've never been to one of these before, and just meet other folks in the field and listen to other lecturers and different readers and things. I believe I'm going to be there doing some palm readings too and that, and maybe a talk or whatever. I'm not quite sure exactly what my part is going to be in that, but that will be September 7th. So there's two events for you, September 21st, September 7th. Also, too, July 23rd. It's a Tuesday evening. If you got nothing going on in the summer and you're looking for something to do on a Tuesday evening, July 23rd, something entirely not paranormal, but something I'm going to be doing. I'm giving a program over at the Orland Park Public Library called Dear Mr. Sears. All about the Sears Roebuck and Company. All about Mr. Sears Roebuck himself. Well, not Mr. Sears Roebuck, Mr. Sears, and then there was a Mr. Roebuck. All about Mr. Sears, and a lot of it to do with the glory days of Sears, when it was in its heyday, and the catalog was really strong, and you kind of see that's what got me the idea to do a program like this. I kind of hate to see this company just kind of falter the way it's going, little by little, piece by piece. It's just coming down to nothing. And I'm going to be doing a program all about that, talking about the catalog, and also two letters. My gosh, I researched this, and I got a lot of letters that were actually written to Dear Mr. Sears from customers. Even long after Sears had passed away, Richard Warren Sears, after he was long passed away, people still continued to send letters to Dear Mr. Sears about different things they had, different questions they had, about the merchandise, complaints they had, praises they had, different things about the catalog. A lot of it very humorous and funny, and just different things that people wrote about the catalog. So it's going to be kind of an interesting program. I hope people like that a lot. So that will be on July 23rd at 7 p.m. That will be at the Orland Park Library. Okay. Guests for tonight. I don't need anybody else. I got Pete Crapia. Pete is phenomenal. Pete is Mr. Bachelor's Grove. I think he lives in a tree out there or something in Bachelor's Grove. Every time I get Pete to come on,
the
it's
other nuts.
Yeah. You're one of the coconuts that falls down from the trees over there, huh? Or they don't have what are those things that do fall down? Those like chi-chi nut things or whatever. Well, not acorns. I know what acorns are. They're those round green things like that fall off the trees.
Which one you're talking about? There's a bunch of stuff that
once in a while I get hit in the head with one.
Sometimes I fall from the tree.
Yeah. Pete is just phenomenal. A lot of just a fountain of information about the Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, and does a lot of work over there that's worth mentioning. Very much involved with the preservation and care of the cemetery, with the cleanup of it and that, and some of the obstacles that he runs into with that, and just trying to keep the cemetery up.
Well, cleanup stuff and the restoration is kind of like stuff I did in the past. Maybe I'll revisit one day.
Oh, so that you're not too much.
Well, I mean, now that we got real support from the county, that's what was needed.
Yeah, we have to mention that the Bachelor's Grove Cemetery actually is Cook County Forest Preserve property.
Bachelor's Grove Cemetery is not Forest Preserve property.
The cemetery itself is not.
The grounds outside the fence is Forest Preserve. The cemetery is not. It's complicated.
Okay, well, what exactly? So the fenced-in area, when you go to Bachelor's Grove,
that's
the
just
area,
real estate office out of Cook County.
Oh, so that is not Cook County Forest Preserve property.
Forest Preserve went to buy some property. Turned out they didn't own the cemetery, and bottom line is it got handed off to a different agency.
Are there
but there's shared maintenance, so it's
okay.
As far as I know, there's only contractors going in there right now. I got to figure out which contractors. I think it may even be shared, because Forest Preserve uses contractors for everything else now, for the most part, because of...
Now, when we're saying contractors, what we're talking about here is the care of the cemetery, like cutting the grass,
right,
putting the garbage cans out, doing the maintenance.
I think the real estate office foots the bill for it. I'm not sure how it's working yet. I never bothered to make any more phone calls. I was happy that they were doing the recommendations I gave them before I headed off for a couple of years.
Okay.
When I came back, it was great.
Good, okay.
So, Now I get to focus more on the paranormal aspects in my research, and others, kind of combine it.
I know you've done a lot of research on not only the paranormal, but also the authentic history of the cemetery itself. You do a lot on that.
Which is required for any location. That's why I would stick with Bachelor's Grove and not really go anywhere else. I didn't need to.
There's enough there.
There was
really
enough
is.
fabulous, real stuff going on that it deserved nothing but my sole attention on that. That's it. If I had any money I had to spend, it was going to be on that place. I didn't need to drive anywhere else.
I agree.
Collecting history is a big part of it. Maybe we can understand some things, and it turns out we are understanding some things based on people's assumptions that a so-called haunted area might be because of some repeating event happening over and over and over again. That's not happening out there. That we know it's not. I know it's not the case. Now, could this ever happen again historically, where something bad happens and it kind of replays itself out? Sure, why not? But there seems to be more of at least a partial time aspect out there.
I'm not, just to sort of interrupt your story a little bit there, just for maybe a bit of clarification. I'm not exactly certain, and I'm sure you have much more stories about the cemetery and the Grove than I do, but I'm not exactly certain that people are going there because they're actually seeing like some axe murder or something.
No.
I think what people are going there for is the famous apparitions that have been recorded and documented through the years. The apparition of the lady in white. The apparition of the yellow
and some of the
suit man,
BS stories, like the mafia
of the house,
stuff that's drawing them in.
Well, that I've kind of
the fabulous stories draws people in initially.
Yeah. Some of that you mentioned the mafia thing. Some of it is nice stories, and it's great for tours. It adds a little drama to the tour, and
if you want to look at it that way,
but it's not true. Yeah,
a lot of the stuff is not true.
Yeah,
but the stuff that is a lot more fabulous and fantastic.
Oh yes, I agree.
Than that junk.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, my opinion at least. So
I always, years ago I thought about that when I first heard this story about it being a mafia dumping ground. I thought, why would they want to come way over here to dump a body in a pond that's 4 feet deep?
It's not even that deep.
Exactly. In a 4 foot deep, it makes no sense to want to do that. I mean, it would make no sense.
And the owners around the property never reported any Al Capone victim stuff going on.
I think, like I said, I think it was just a nice little story.
That, and now some people talk about this in their writings.
See, stories
that the only time the Al Capone thing ever got his hands in that area, as far as we can tell, is once he wanted part of the milk route.
Okay.
To one of these farmers out there.
Yeah.
And they said, no, and we're getting the hell out of here.
That's the end of that.
They did. They picked up, got ready, sold their land, and left. They were actually afraid.
In actuality...
Well, I mean...
I have an Al Capone story, too. Well, I don't know if it's exactly Al Capone, but I know it is mafia-related. My mom's side of the family, this is years ago, they owned a little store in the city. They owned a little store, and the mob actually came to my grandfather, my mom's dad now, and said they wanted to use the basement of his store, like to store the liquor and the booze and stuff and like that. And he also said no. And then what happened with that was they left the store. Now, if I'm remembering the story right now, because this has been told to me many years ago by people in the family that are no longer around anymore, they actually left that location, and they moved the family to Summit. That's how we wound up relocating to Summit.
I mean, back in the day in Chicago, that was a
So these things did happen.
You should be afraid.
But anyway, getting back to Bachelor's Grove, I think what happens with some of these stories and where they kind of get elaborated on is maybe there was a body there or something at one point. Who knows? We don't know. And then from that, people say, "Oh my gosh, it's a mobster's body," and "Oh my gosh, next thing you know, it was dumped in the lake," and "Oh my, this and that," and how the stories get kind of stretched and the truth gets stretched over the years and that. Yeah. And like I say, some of it just makes nice little stories.
But
I like to look for the documented
things.
things.
Let's say there was 100 bodies dumped in there.
Oh no!
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
If there was 100 bodies dumped in that, if there was 100 bodies dumped in that pond, there'd be no pond. You'd be walking on bodies.
Where is the so-called haunted effect from dumping a bunch of bodies in the pond?
No.
Now, I had a Fox News TV reporter when I was out there once who wanted to talk about these splashing noises of the bodies being dumped in there. And I told her, that's not true. Where'd you get that from? She's like, I'm going to say it anyway.
See, there again, you're sensationalizing.
Right.
That's how it starts, right?
And it really kind of bothered me. I'm like, this is why I really avoid,
because it makes a good story for the news broadcast.
And rarely would I ever agree to some of those broadcasts when they would call. And that kind of crap. Like you're spreading garbage.
Mm-hmm.
There were no bodies that we know of for sure.
No,
You
yeah,
know,
like I said,
anecdotal
the
stuff
story
for me-
starts somewhere, and then over time it gets, like with any stories of the supernatural, when you actually take the time to seriously research them and try to trace them back as far back as you can go with it, like where it actually started, where it
Show me
originated,
the evidence.
who was
then.
the first person that actually saw something, and all
Yeah.
this. You find out that a lot of them are just some story that started from somebody seeing something, and then somebody else added something more to it.
If they're
and somebody
seeing the
else added
horse and
something
plow,
else.
you know how the horse
Yeah.
story started,
Right.
And we know the pond didn't even exist when the horse drowned. So somebody took that information I gave and got the court documents, and voila, I haven't got the documents yet. Hopefully they'll share it, but they probably
Now
won't.
the
I'll have to
story,
get it
if you
myself.
research the story about the horse
And
and,
the
the farmer
plow
and
truck.
the barn.
Dale started that story, Dale Kaczmarek, and he said he was pretty sure it happened there, and didn't have any record of it. But now, even if he had read that story someplace, we know it doesn't take place at the Grove. But were people still seeing a horse or whatever?
Well,
go
I
asleep
actually
by the
talked.
pond?
I'm sort of at the advantage on this story
Yeah.
because I talked to. There were two troopers. Now this way.
That's the way it goes down, right?
Now this is the way I got the story, and I actually
Right.
talked to one of them who
You
claimed.
got to talk to one.
I got to talk to one who
Okay.
claimed to be, and I'm sure by now he's long gone too.
Yeah, I
This is-
assume those people were
This is
long
some time
gone. I
ago,
don't
yeah.
bother hunting
And this
them
was
down.
about 1969. He told me that they were driving down the Midlothian Turnpike.
Okay.
They were driving down, and they actually saw it not going into the pond, but towards the direction of the pond, going across the road.
Crossed
They
the
saw
road
him.
toward the pond.
Toward the pond, and they were very floored by this. I mean, why would somebody dressed like this with a horse and this kind of thing, and then they just saw it sort of go into the direction of the pond and sort of just disappear on them, and that was it. And
You're
it floored
pretty
them.
sure it started from the north and ended up south.
This is the story I got.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah, this was
All right.
this was the story
This is
that I got.
going on
about.
record. You
Yeah.
know that from
Yeah,
me.
Oh yeah, well no, we got it on.
These are
It'll
little
be on.
these are
It'll
little
be on the
tidbits.
broadcast, so you can hear it.
If
you know.
you're a first person, testimony witness to at least talking to an officer, I'm gonna,
Yeah, I talked to the one. Now the man claimed to be. Now, of course, I don't have any.
He claimed to be the officer.
He claimed to be one of the
So
troopers.
Dale didn't introduce you to the officer.
No,
You don't know for sure this was the same officers Dale talked
I
to?
can't say for certain.
You
I
just
did.
know
I
it
did
was
not
a
know.
officer.
I can't. This I can't say for certain because I don't know who Mr. Kaczmarek has spoken with or who he hasn't.
What kind of officer were they?
He was a state trooper.
State trooper.
This is what he told me. The man told me he was a state trooper.
Okay.
They were both on duty at that time, and this was late at night when this
Okay.
happened. Yeah, when this happened, then he said that's what it was. He was coming across the road. They saw it come across the road.
Okay.
So they didn't see it like in the cemetery and head into the pond and drown in the
Okay.
pond. They saw it going that way. Now that was the story
See,
I
now,
got from him.
but I don't
Now
think
I don't
it's-
have any sworn statements that have been
no,
notarized
no,
or
I
anything
get
from
it.
the man
Yeah, yeah.
saying he was who he was or anything.
Yeah.
But he related the story to me. The story sounded convincing to me, and it also sounded pretty authentic because it was a little different from the other stories I heard. And usually, like I say, when you find the story that is the truth, it's a lot different. The truth is a lot different from a lot of the stories that
Well,
you're
some of the
floating
truth
around.
for me, I go back to the time thing. I mean, just because you see a horse doesn't mean something was bad happening.
Of course not.
We literally had a farm right there where the road is today, and they
There
were
again,
using
that
horses
story-
to dig out the quarry, right?
Exactly.
So why not?
See that story now. There again, it could be just what you just
If
hit
it's
it,
a
you hit
time
the, you hit the
thing.
nail on the head with that. It could basically just be a residual haunt of a
Well, see,
man
no,
looking
see,
like
I don't
that.
do the residual thing.
You don't do residuals.
No,
See, I do.
I don't because the way I kept.
All right, before we go into
Yeah,
that, let me
yeah,
just
yeah,
finish what I was
yeah.
going to say
You
here.
go for it.
Now, I'm saying a residual, and of course, Pete now says he disagrees with it, but I
I
will
do,
say a
yeah.
residual haunt of this being played back of a farmer with a old-fashioned plow and a horse being seen. Now, okay, someone seen this, like this trooper said, he saw it and that, but then later on, he related the story to someone else. The story got around. The story's been written about and all this, that, and the other. And there again, someone stretches the truth on it, adds a little more to it. Well, next thing you know, he's been dragged into the pond. They drowned, and all this
Well,
stuff
these were
like that.
two separate.
And I've actually
these
told
were
that
two,
story
supposed
myself.
to be two separate incidences. So, even though Dale Kaczmarek would combine the drowning of a horse and a plow type of thing,
Yeah.
he just kind of assumed that was related to the sighting
I don't
of
think
a horse.
there again now. If it was that
So-
pond, I don't think a horse could drown in that pond because that pond's not that deep. Of course, now years ago when this
I
would have
don't
happened,
know.
maybe it was deeper. I don't know.
Well, no, actually, when they built the bridge and put the road through, yeah, I mean, because that quarry stretched past
So it was much
the
bigger.
street.
Yeah.
It went more south.
Yeah.
Actually, there's remnants still on the south side. If you take a walk, you see the original drain of the
Where
the
the quarry
original
was.
quarry.
Mhm.
And a lot of people miss it because they don't bother to go across that way.
No, a lot of people
So-
stay just on the cemetery side.
It's
They
a
don't
little
go-
rough
yeah.
to get in there. There's a lot
Yeah.
of thorns, but it's there. I did a little video on it. But
Okay,
it
so
doesn't show
anyway,
much.
I didn't mean to cut your story off there, but you don't like the residual.
Well, I'm definitely. I mean, I consider that kind of thing. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
So then, in other words, what you believe is every haunt that is seen or whatever is an original haunt.
Time itself.
It's not
when
something
you start
that's repeating
studying
itself.
what physicists talk about with time, and based on my own observations with time, okay, there doesn't seem to be a linear thing going on. Okay, we may perceive like an hour from now, but it gets so complicated.
Yeah, I can see this getting deep.
It's so
yeah.
cool. We only have an hour, so
And we run a little longer if we have to.
No, we don't have all night. Come on. You don't have tape. No, but the cool thing about time is it appears that even what you do in the future can affect your past.
Of course.
No, well, why would you say? Of course, most people would say the opposite. Yeah, it's got to be impossible. Your past.
Well, see, I would say, of course, because I'm a believer.
How can you change what you did in the past by doing what you did in the future?
See, I'm a believer in time travel.
Well,
I believe it's very possible. I believe it.
Yeah.
I've experienced some things myself that I can't account for.
There are different forms of time travel. You don't have to physically jump in a DeLorean.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, I haven't. I haven't ever sailed on one of Columbus's ships. Nothing like that. I haven't visited the Columbian Exposition. I haven't sailed on one of Columbus's ships. I haven't witnessed Abraham Lincoln's assassination. Nothing like that.
Actually,
I can. There are things where I can account for an hour or two missing, and I can't account for it. Now, some people, another gentleman that I had on, Mr. Tom Cameron, I think you know Tom. You might have been on the show a couple times when Tom was on here. Tom attributes that to alien encounters, when you can't account for a time, like a lapse in time that you can't account for.
Well, I mean,
I don't attribute it to that. I attribute it to a time travel.
A race of beings is using technology that can manipulate certain fields, you could be manipulating time. So why the hell not?
Yeah.
It's just. We even got our own military personnel talk about this. The Air Force, or not the Air Force, the Navy. Sorry, look up this patent. I don't have the patent number, but the Navy even released a patent in 2016, and they describe if you build this device, okay, it changes mass, which they blah blah blah. It goes into it, and they say you're changing time, you're changing your reality around the ship. Does this sound bizarre?
Yeah, it does.
Why would they even talk about it? No, it's an official patent. It's an official patent. It's free for government use. But they give you all the drawings and the description, and you can jump over to the generator.
Of course, it's probably something that's almost next to impossible to build.
No, it's not impossible to build. They're building. We're watching these things fly around. People think they're aliens, but it's us. These craft. In the documents, it's the exact same drawings as the stuff we're flying around, where people are seeing flying around videotaping. It can't be a coincidence. And the Navy is the one who wants to actually release this. This is a totally different side topic.
So then possibly now,
but they're involved in the time aspect
no
too,
disrespect to Tom Cameron, who I think is just a great guy. Tom is just a phenomenal human being, and he's been on this show many times. So possibly some of the so-called alien encounters that Tom believes he has had, maybe were encounters with our own.
Oh, sure. Why not? I mean, there's history of military personnel with beings that obviously don't look human, of these people that have been taken and brought back on more than one occasion. We've got some pretty credible.
I've never experienced anything like that. But like I said, I do believe in time travel because I've had some weird things where I can't account for like a couple of hours.
And if you can't, you're standing somewhere and then suddenly you were somewhere else. And you're like,
no,
I get here?
I'd be there, and I thought like I was there for 10 minutes, and it was like a 2-hour time lapse. And I'm like, wait a minute.
See if you're going like a 2-hour thing, that should ring some bells.
Yeah.
Very rarely has that happened to me, and I've been in certain places when that's happened, and I'd never said anything about it. Other people were telling me it was happening to them. Not that many,
Yeah.
And it's always intrigued me that aspect to it. So. But it's so hard to study that.
It is. It's very difficult. It becomes very.
I mean, no matter how much
it's also very difficult to talk about too, because right away people say, "Oh, this guy's missing a couple of the cards out of the
sure.
deck."
But see, I look at it the other way.
But that's someone that's never
I
experienced
find that
it.
most people are just
it's sort of like are
dead inside. They have like lack of experience with so many things in life that if they hear people talk a certain way, it's like, whoa, this guy's really like way out there now.
Well, that's why shows like this, for entertainment, of course, and then also too maybe to enlighten people, and maybe just if it provokes someone's thoughts on something.
If it progresses somebody spiritually speaking, whatever, it does something good. That's great, as long as it's got some truth in it. That's what I want.
Pete, you've hit the nail on the head twice so far. We're doing the show. I agree too with the truth, because there's a lot of things going out there that I believe are just being presented to the public for whatever the reason they're being presented to them, and it's not true. For various reasons, whatever, and it's just not true. And if you're ever going to see the paranormal field go into an actual science taking seriously, this is not the way to be going about it.
It's going to take some really, really good people. It's going to take serious people.
And it's going to take a little more than just
if you think
than
that
just entertainment. It's got to be. It's got to be
up a
taking
ghost box. I'm sorry to knock it. If you think using a so-called ghost box sweeping the FM band is going to get you anywhere, then I've got no hope. If you keep going with that over and over and over again, and that's all you've been doing, I've got no faith that those kind of people are going to get anywhere.
Well, what usually happens with that is after they've done it for so long, they sort of lose interest in it too.
Well, that's why it even started, because they
lose interest because they haven't gotten
gratification.
Yes, they haven't gotten the photograph they want to get. They haven't gotten the voice recording they want to get. They don't have the videotape of the ghost walking across the floor.
Why don't
they
try
that,
something simpler? Why don't they actually sit down and try something crazy for a change?
Yeah.
Why don't they try to talk to their friend mentally?
Yeah, true.
There are tricks you could do. And once you start realizing that you can have real telepathy with people,
sit there,
regardless
meditate,
of, can you prove it?
Sit there, meditate.
Try it with your friends.
Also, too, I'm all for working with a good medium.
Right, and that stuff will train you. You are who you are as a person. Who you are, you are a tool.
Yeah.
You can
now
focus yourself.
there again. I'm not bad mouthing, the equipment and all that stuff. This is wonderful. It's great.
I'm a sciencey guy. I'm a sciencey guy.
It's
but
great
when I
that
look
we
at
have
some
all
of this
this
other
stuff.
crap going on, I'm like, there's a time and place.
Yeah.
Maybe a so-called ghost box has its time and place.
Yeah.
And I have my own secret history with that before the Frank's box.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a time and place, and when I was done with it, I said, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is definitely an approach that just needs to be put in the back burner because there's so many other better things.
And then
you could be doing.
then we play it back and we listen to it. And, well, wait, we have to play it backwards.
Oh,
now,
give me that crap! No.
It shouldn't be like that.
There are other ways. If you can get your mind focused a certain way, if you can just get yourself in that zone of being able to do mental tricks, so to speak. That's the best way I can put it. I'm sure some people out there know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And others think I'm just whacked. But that is going to get you a lot farther. That's going to get you a really good start into maybe somewhat understanding just what in the hell you're running into.
Do you think,
your daily
just
life.
In your opinion, Pete, do you think it's something like you either have it or you don't? Or maybe you
I
have
think
a little bit of it and it's something that you can
it.
develop?
I think we all can do it.
Yeah.
Some of us might have our limitations if we got bonked in the head with a baseball bat. Who knows? But I'm saying, like, all of us are capable of doing it. A lot of us are trained to poo-poo it, apparently, and that is harmful. That really is harmful. The more you actually, like, look at it negatively, like, that's not possible, I'm telling you, like, that will have a profound effect on what you can do mentally. Once you start believing, or at least acknowledging and realizing, oh, my God, there's something going on here, all of a sudden, like, this door opens and you got all this weird crap going on in your life. You're like, that can't be coincidence. How is that even possible? But it's happening, and it's happening. And other people around you start going through it. And before you know it, you're not nuts. And it's an awesome life.
I think some people, the logic likes to go in it. They like to explain it off as something logical and say, well, that's why it happened. Now, I run into this sort of thing like when I'm doing a reading. And there again, when I say reading, I do a palm reading. Everybody knows I do palm readings. Sometimes when I'm reading someone's palm, I'll see something in there and I says, you have some psychic ability yourself.
Yeah, I've been through that.
And I see that, and I tell them, and I say, you've got some psychic ability yourself, but I said, and then I can see something else in there too, and I tell them, I says, on another line, I says, it's just something you're not exercising that much. And occasionally I'll get somebody that will tell me, they say, I've always suspected that.
And it comes from you. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, you're doing the palm thing, but I know it's you.
And I tell them, start listening to your inner voices. If something's telling you to do something or not to do something, exactly.
Just keep it private if you got to. But go
I've
with
had
it.
people tell me, they said, I've always suspected that, but it's something I've always kind of been in denial of and say, it's just coincidence.
It'll get better
I says,
for you.
No,
if you
really,
just go
listen. Because I says, trust me, you've got a little bit of ability here, and it's going to develop more as time goes on, But you've got to start listening to those. Listen to your heart, listen to your head. Your voices are telling you something, to do it or not to do it. Yeah. Go with it, yeah. Well, any to-hoot.
I thought we were almost on a break.
No,
half hour or something
no, we don't do the commercials anymore.
We
don't do the commercials anymore. No, we're commercial free now, so yeah. Which is good. That way we get the full
sound like
hour.
You're the original XM satellite radio before they actually put commercials back.
Well, there is a thing. We are not a public station. Like if we were one of the high school, like when I used to do shows at WARG. Were you ever? No, you were never on the show when I did it at WARG.
I was like told to go try to find you.
Oh,
and,
I
and,
see.
And that was Ray
Oh,
Johnson.
I got a story to tell you about something that somebody was tried to find me last week or the week before. Was it last week? No, the week before. Someone tried to find me. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But anyway, when I was doing the shows over there, that of course being a school station and run that way, they have to run some public service announcements. So we were required by law to do one or two commercials, and you had to do like public service. Don't smoke. Look both ways before you cross the street. Public service type things like that, which are good.
Don't put your
They're
foot in
good.
your mouth.
Yeah. So we had to do that. Yeah. Someone reached out to me, which is kind of a strange one, and I didn't really know how to take it, if it was legitimate or not, and I kind of blew it off as somewhat of a shyster. Someone left me a message on my phone. I came in. It was on a Friday. This was 2 weeks ago, and it was a person with a Harris magazine. And they said they were looking for information on Resurrection Mary. They wanted photos, pictures of the grave sites, pictures of this Resurrection Cemetery.
I remember some of this that you were talking about.
Did I tell you this?
No.
I couldn't have because I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks.
I think you. Well, go on.
And so I says, okay, fine. So I got the message and I called the person up. And I said, yes, I got your message on the phone and that. And he says, well, yes, we're looking for all this information. We're going to be doing a story in the magazine, and you get credit for the story, which, fine, okay. You'll get credit for the story. But we want photos of the cemetery, photos of the Mary grave sites, photos of who they believe Resurrection Mary was, and all these things. And I was, well, yeah, I says, I have all that. Many years of research and many eyewitnesses I've spoken to about that. I says, yeah, I have quite a lot of information on it, on Resurrection Mary. And I says, well, how soon did you want all this information? Well, we need it by today.
Oh, well, come on.
And I says, well, now, that's exactly what I says. It's not today. This is Friday afternoon, like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What do they really expect?
And I says, well, you know what you can do? You can come down to where I live. I says, he says, well, can't you shoot it to us through the computer? And I says, no, I'm kind of sorry about that.
You know
what?
No. Forget that crap.
That's exactly what I said. I says, you know what? This could be somebody that's just looking for me to send him a lot of research.
I've been through similar crap. Where they even thought
no.
Bachelor Grove was a hotel. I'm like, you know what? You guys are not serious about whatever.
Yeah, you wonder
doing.
sometimes if this stuff is. And I told him, I said, no, I have a lot of information. I have a lot of photos, a lot of that stuff I've gathered over the years. But you want it that fast? You want me to just shoot this all through you to the computer?
No, that's a bunch of people just.
I says, nah.
Spoiled brats.
It could be somebody just looking for a story
lap.
and looking for some information that they're looking for, and you've done all the research on it. And not that I'm trying to withhold research or information from you. I think it should be shared.
But you can't.
But it just didn't sound right.
To just drop everything and.
That's what I thought it was.
Sure.
Yeah, I felt it was, so I kind of dismissed it.
I'm pretty sure I saw something that you mentioned because I thought about Dale Casimir. He's got 8mm video, silent video of the gates, of the bent bars.
Okay.
On that same reel, I almost bought it on eBay and I missed the auction. It turned out he bought it.
Okay.
He had to convert it, so it's got Bachelor's Grove when they first put the fence in, and it's got Resurrection Mary bars, the handprints. Like the only known existence original. No, you got the photos out there.
Yeah.
But he's the only one that has like the only actual when it happened in 8mm video up against the gates.
What does he got photos of?
The Resurrection Mary, the supposed handprints on the gate.
Oh, he's got pictures of the bars.
No, video. 8mm motion video.
Video of the gates.
Yeah, you have to see it. It's kind of cool.
Okay, I get you. Okay, I kind of get you.
I mean, as far as documentaries go, I mean, it's kind of cool stuff. So
I've seen some of that footage of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery with the sign up, and when the sign was actually down on the ground.
Yeah,
with people walking over the sign.
Stuff.
Yeah, somebody told me that sign is hauled away, and somebody's got it in some bar or something.
Oh, I got so many different stories.
Yeah, I don't know where. Who knows where it's at?
Stories stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got it. My friend's got it in his bedroom.
Yeah, I know all kind of crazy things. Yeah,
and no, you could see that it was deteriorating. Like some people were taking parts of it over time.
Sure.
So anybody who even makes a claim that you got this whole, and someone claim I got the entire sign. Well, you don't have the entire sign.
The other one too.
Unless you were the one
the other one going around out there now too are the bricks from the St. Valentine's Day wall. With the little brass plates on them. This is an authentic brick from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
It's cool to have, but I wouldn't pay a lot of money for it.
No.
I mean, I'd have to be pretty rich to bother doing that crap.
No.
So.
I like collecting those things, but I have limits. I mean, I don't know. Some of it.
You think it's going to haunt you?
No. No, I don't think it's going to haunt you. But Richard Crowe loved to talk about the curse involved with those bricks, and he was dead serious about it.
Yeah, he loved to talk about that.
But then, at the same token, while he was talking about that curse, he would try to sell you one. And I said, "No, Rich, thanks."
That's what I think he was talking about.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't think so. But there's a whole wall of those bricks out in Las Vegas, which you lived out there.
Yeah, somebody bought a bunch.
Yeah, and they built a wall from them.
No, I never saw it.
It was like a gangster museum.
I saw. Yeah. But I wasn't going to pay money to go into that thing.
No, you didn't want to do it?
No, I'm not going to pay money for that.
I paid money to go to Liberace's museum when I was in Las Vegas. I mean, I went to go see that.
I would barely.
I love all that stuff.
For a nighttime permit at the Grove. All right, at least that to me is research worthy.
Well, no, you're not there again. You're not doing it for research. Come on now. If you go to one of these little museums and things like that,
me living there, I heard rumors. They said it sucked.
What, that you live in Bachelor's Grove?
No, about the museum in Vegas, the mob museum.
Oh, yeah.
I was told it sucked. So I'm like, well, I definitely won't spend money.
Yeah, I don't know how much. Personally, we should have put a mob museum in the city of Chicago, but
I think that was tried and they got
rid of that. Yeah. When Mayor Daley was in office, now the first Mayor Daley, not Rich DeSantis.
Oh, there were some mayors that were really against the idea.
Mayor
of
Daley
talking
was.
about.
That's why that St. Valentine Massacre garage is torn down, because he wanted to get rid of any of Chicago's gangster connections at all. He wanted to get rid of it. He wanted it wiped out. He didn't want the city of Chicago having anything to do with that. But now it's fun to kind of see. You go into the Walgreens downtown on Michigan Avenue, and you see a whole little section there where they have Al Capone T-shirts and Al Capone coffee mugs and stuff. So it is, like it or not, it's hokey, it's campy, whatever. It is part of your city's history.
Yeah, I know,
it is part of your city's history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I would go with that at the Grove, let's say, is those penny smashers? You put the penny in and you wheel it around and gives you a picture.
Souvenir of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Yeah, I thought that'd be cool because they got the free ones. It's just like a straight pipe. You just put.
There are trading cards out there.
Yeah, no, I bought a bunch.
I
started collecting.
They're like little miniature trading cards. They're kind of cool.
Did I give you one?
No, I bought some myself. They were very cheap.
I was pretty sure I gave you.
I was doing some eBay shopping.
When I first met you, I didn't give you one?
No. No.
I thought
Mine are small ones. Are yours the little ones too?
Yeah, they're the mini.
Yeah, that's what I got.
The original trading, baseball cards that came out in cigarettes, cigarette packs.
Yeah.
That's what they went.
Now those are the old timers. Those are the real collectible ones.
So they brought it back under, and then they had, we're going to give you not just baseball, we're going to give you different, like they did plants, then they did the Haunted series.
I think at one time just about anybody that was any kind of a celebrity had a card in a cigarette pack.
I don't remember.
Or a cigarette carton, because there are ones of opera stars. There are ones of sports figures, opera stars. There's a lot of different ones, but the cemetery one fascinated me, and it was all
that's a first.
And it was Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, and I says, look at this, I couldn't believe it, and I bought it. I don't know where it came from.
I thought it would have been great for the restoration project, just to offset.
I just bought it as a curiosity. It was very cheap. It was just a couple of dollars. I bought it, and it was like a whole little packet of them.
Yeah, these days I typically give them away. Like this. I have complete sets. Those I don't give away. Those are hard to get. Complete sets. They're pretty cool. 7 of 10. Do you have a complete set?
I'm not certain. I've got like Cemetery in Savannah, Georgia, the Bachelor's Grove, I think Resurrection Cemetery. There's like a bunch.
I'll give you one after the show. I got them with me.
Do you really?
I got a whole.
You're something else.
I even got a couple singles in my bag right there.
Cool.
I always keep with me.
You just walk around with this stuff all the time.
Actually, I do.
Ah.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm weird that way.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that something?
No, and I would do interviews at the Grove, like saying like I'm so and so, I'm so and so, and you're listening to Bachelor's Grove. This little promo, whatever you want to call it. You guys know the lingo. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I would give those away now for doing that kind of thing. So do something with it.
Now that's not breaking the law or anything. If you're giving something away, why would it be? Yeah.
Well,
no, I don't know, because how people get about things. You can't hand out
literature.
If you're
you can't hand out money out there.
Exactly.
If you're in the cemetery grounds, you probably could exchange money just fine. But why are we even talking about that? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny how things come up on this show, isn't it? Yeah. That's what I like about it. I like the candidness and the honesty.
So you were having another visitor, and
we were supposed to have another young lady on. It was sort of iffy if she was going to come on or not. But she decided, I guess, not to, or she got tied up with something else, which happens all the time.
Maybe they found out I was here and just
no, not at all. Pete, stop. People that don't even know you now. I know you, and we've warmed up to each other here, and that's it. We were of course very bitter enemies for like about 3 months there. Yeah, we were just like at each other's throats. Matter of fact, I even chased him around the room one time with an axe, and I missed him.
That time I was choking you with the mic. That was great. With the cable wrapped around.
Now people are going to believe this stuff. If we don't say something about this, they're going to believe it. No, this is not true.
Yeah, well, there's already people out there thinking I'm beating up the caretaker at the Grove. Like, get out of here! Come on.
There again, Pete. Now I tell you, these stories all start. Now, see, someone will listen to this. We're kidding, folks. I just want to clarify that. I want to tell you, we're kidding. I did not chase Pete with an axe. Pete did not choke me with a microphone cord. We're kidding, folks. I just want to clarify that, because next thing you know, the story will float around, and they'll say, "Yeah, this did happen." That's how these things start. Next thing you know, you and I will be ghosts at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, walking around out there, or we will be ghosts in this radio station. That's how these things work. Yeah,
we'll cue up something next time, like a ruckus.
Yeah. Now here.
We'll wait till April.
I've had guests that have come on this show and have sat here at this very table we are sitting right now, and they say, yes, there is some activity, and they say it's back here in this building.
I have yet to feel anything.
Me too. Nothing. I have to honestly say, maybe these people are feeling something. Maybe they're doing something. I'm not myself. Nothing ever. All the years I've been coming here doing this, nothing at all. John DeVita lives here. Him, nothing. So
really, is that right? Okay.
So yeah. So nothing. But some people say yes, and now some of these.
I mean,
folks,
sure, you could be sensitive.
Yeah. Some of these folks do not know each other. They've come on different shows at different times.
No matter how sensitive you are,
yeah.
there's times you may miss something. So other people are just.
Exactly. A lot of times you could have two people in the same room, and one person is picking up on something, and the other person not. And
I personally, I actually think we pick up on a lot of stuff. We just filter it out. We
yes,
filter a lot of things.
It's sort of something coincidence, or you're occupied with something else, and you just kind of blow it off. I'll get back to that
there,
later.
But somewhere in there, in your mind, you have that information, and you'll see people even behave a certain way, and they don't know why they're behaving that way when they walked into a certain environment. You know what I mean? And yet they're not feeling a presence of something, but they're actually acting out somebody else's emotion that was just in the room an hour ago or something.
Well, would that kind of be borderline possession?
No,
like someone's other soul.
That's funny. I'm possessed, by the way.
Oh, you are?
Oh no, totally. Hands down.
I always thought you were repossessed.
That I am a bad man, and I am possessed. And I should never walk on the path at Bachelor's Road.
What exactly is possessing you?
It will get you. It will do bad things to you.
What exactly are you possessed by?
Good question.
I don't know.
Just something bad.
Oh.
Just something bad.
Oh, my.
It's got to be bad. So, no, it's not possession. If you go into a room and you start doing things a certain way, I mean, it's like you put it together like, oh, so-and-so was just here. Or there's cases where you start behaving a certain way, you start feeling a certain way, and you don't know why, and it's really heightened. And
now,
somebody shows up at the house
at a later date,
in that state of mind.
Yeah. Now, at a later date, if you act the same way or whatever, are you repossessed?
I said I don't think it's possession at all.
I don't either. No, I don't. No.
I mean, sure, could you interface with some intelligence? Absolutely. To me, absolutely, it's possible. But I mean,
listen to Pete. I don't know if you ever listened to this show, Pete. But if you do, listen to the show we did last month with Linda Wilkes. I think you, in particular, of all people, would find that very beneficial.
I actually turned it off.
You did. You didn't like it?
I actually. Well, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. I'm not gonna poo-poo it either. I'm just saying it's just. There are times when I will just turn something off. Here's my blunt honesty here.
Okay.
So sorry. I just I gave it a shot and I said not for me.
It was just too talky, or you just didn't like that theory? You didn't like that?
There's a lot of times when people talk a certain way, I think it seems very narrow. I don't know. That's the impression I got. Like there's something missing here. I'm not saying a person isn't going through crap. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it wasn't for me.
Okay, I get you.
It wasn't for me.
All right. Okay, and it's an opinion, and I respect that. But,
right.
But Linda, to me, is just super knowledgeable about that.
I think she was trying to even do the walk-in topic, right?
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
People give me that crap a lot, too. Well, Pete, you got to walk in. That's how you're able to do these things that you can do. Things that I don't mention to the real, public, like on a mic here, like really wild things. Oh, you got to walk in. You got a spirit in you. Why does it got to be that? I mean, seriously, why does it always got to be?
What else would it be?
Why can't you have a natural inclination to just be who the hell you are? And just have crap happening.
It's possible but it's very possible that's what it is. It could also be possible that it is a walk-in. Pete, try to.
I kind of feel like I would know.
In all things,
I get information that comes out of nowhere. When I go with it, I'll jump in the car, not knowing what the hell I'm doing or why I'm doing it, and I'll get to where I'm at, and things happen. Okay, so there's a lot of validation in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, where there's communication coming from somewhere. So I think if something that can communicate with me is doing that. Why wouldn't I notice something intelligent going into my body or whatever you want to call it? That's basically what you're saying, a walk-in. Well, actually, isn't a walk-in? They got different theories. Isn't it like walk-in saying, oh, they just ripped who you are away and just put somebody else in? There's like one of those other theories.
All I can tell you, Pete, is I am not the authority on that.
I know.
I'm not the authority on that. And since you did not listen to the whole show,
no, I didn't. I think it actually was the walk-in thing.
I think if you listen to it, I think Linda will make it very, very clear to you just exactly what that is. Maybe explain it to you a little better.
Give me some real demonstrations in person one day. That's fine. That's cool. Or have a side conversation. I just wasn't going to sit and listen to the rest of anything about walk-ins.
Okay,
because
it just wasn't for you. All right, no.
Because there were different spin-offs of the supposed
there's one for and one against. Personally, myself, I think Linda is very knowledgeable about what she talks about. I think she knows what she's talking about. And personally, I believe everything she said.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. That's my.
I've got other people, saying that about me, and that's fine. But what's funny is those people seem to be dead as a doornail when it comes to psychic abilities. That's funny. That's hilarious. They'll keep up on the topic.
Well, I could
but
tell you,
they claim that they're not psychic. Well, then how do you know? Because I heard it from somebody on the internet. You got to walk in. That's basically what they're going on. So that's why I just get like,
okay, I see.
You know what?
Yeah. But you know what, Pete? In all things, don't close things out. Kind of keep yourself open-minded. Not like me too. I always, you always hear me say about about technology, about EVPs and this and the other. But nonetheless, I keep an open mind about it. There are a lot of things out there that are very authentic and they're very good in it. But it seems like
if there is such a thing as an entity walking into my body. I'm sure I'll revisit the topic when it happens.
Okay.
Okay. And if there's a way to do it without me knowing, then so be it. And if it has been
happening, because
you've
experienced a lot of things
in
really
life.
Well. Yeah,
So,
you've had a lot of things in life happen to you that you can't really explain.
But you can't, and I'm always open to the possibility that, because when I would go into a room or something and I would behave a certain way, and then there's that person, you know what I mean, behaving that way, just, right before they came in or they were just here, that kind of stuff. My family would have fun with that. Some of my family members like, oh, yeah, so-and-so.
Okay.
They think that all the time, but they don't tell anybody about it. How did you know that? That kind of thing. It's like you pick up on this stuff, but it's not a walk-in. Why would they have to be a walk-in? You just pick up on crap.
No, it wouldn't have to be. Not all.
Some people do. I don't know about her.
Yeah,
I didn't. Like I said, I didn't.
That's why I say you got to listen to the broadcast. You got to listen to Linda speak. Listen to what she has to say, and
you'll walk-ins and stuff.
I think if you did take the time to keep an open mind enough to listen to Linda, I think you might change your feelings on that.
I don't know.
You might see where she's coming from. You might see it more. You didn't listen to it because
if anybody's out there making money at it and that, it's going to be really hard to get my attention too.
Well, I don't think that's the case here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think that's
the case.
If
that ends up happening with some people, if they're out there making money, I mean, I know you're doing your thing and that's whatever. I'm saying there's a point where if somebody's out there making a bunch of money.
Oh, John, incidentally, it's about time for me to renew my contract here at the radio station, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to renegotiate my salary. No, there again, I better clarify that.
I get jaded.
This is a labor of love. We do this because we enjoy doing
right.
it.
It's a labor of love for me to do these things. And when I find, you're making a few bucks, whatever. But if you're just like trying to make a real living at it, like I'm you know what? I got better things to do right now, and I'm not psychically dead, so I'm just going to go about my business and learn whatever I'm learning throughout my life. I don't really need to listen to that crap right now.
Yeah, all of a sudden this seems to be an issue too. I seem to be getting this from a lot of people and I don't know if it's I don't know if it's envy, if it's jealousy, if it's just a genuine not liking it, whatever.
Weird.
But I'm no different from anybody else too. There's a lot of things I do. I volunteer to do this, or I volunteer to do that, or some things you do. Like we said, it's a labor of love.
If you like to do something,
you do it just out of the sheer joy of doing it.
Right.
But I'm no different from anybody else. If I give a little tour or a talk or something like that, and I can get paid for it and make a few dollars on it, and that, of course I like that too. I don't make a living at it, of course not.
I think also it plays a big role in it.
I don't do enough of it to make a living.
There was so much going on with me, not just in my personal life, but again the Grove. Okay, and it was like one of these days, as crazy as my stories would be, if I decide to tell them. Could you, they're so fantastic, so unbelievable,
but Pete,
that the moment that I would even accept a dime, to me it felt like tainted. Like it was like, I do not want to be that crowd, because I got some real stuff going on.
I know you do. And you know what?
I think
you should be, just as a suggestion to you and a personal feeling on it, I think you would be the person that should come up with some presentations on this stuff and maybe address this
and
to
that's
people
when you wanted me to
educate
and
the
I
people
can't do it because my problem is, we were talking about this before the show. Most people are in it for the entertainment value. If I go out of my way, I don't feel like I'll actually be teaching anything because I want to be full disclosure about it if I do such a thing. If I'm going to get on a stage and do that kind of crap, I want to be full disclosure. And if I did that, it's going to be a serious, serious problem. By the way, remember the story I told you? It happened so fantastic out at the Grove that I won't talk about it because I don't want people going out there for the wrong reasons.
That's right.
Well, the few people that I did tell, it got out. And as of yesterday,
I hate this.
somebody mentioned it and twisted it into a bad thing. a bad
You
thing.
know, this is one thing I don't like when people, you know, I feel wonderful. It really is a nice thing when people reveal something to me and they hold me in that kind of a confidence.
And I do.
That I won't say anything. When people say something to me and they say, I'm going to tell you this, I'm revealing this to you, but I would like you not to mention this to anyone else or not to reveal this to anyone else. And I say, okay, fine, I'm keeping it here. But then my next question is, who else did you tell this to? Because
very few.
Because if you've told this to someone else and the story does leak, I just want you to know it's not going to be leaking from my end.
What's interesting about it, and again, nobody's got details except for those that have heard it, but bottom line is behind the scenes, before this event had occurred, I had some weird communication going on with me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And I was actually outright told what was generally going to happen, and do not tell anybody that this happened because it's for a different reason.
Okay, then don't tell anybody.
Well, I did anyway because of how damn exciting it is. Because it was so exciting. It was. Do you understand the implications of what had just happened?
Now, because whatever it was, whatever voice
it was something that physically manifested itself that I asked for.
Okay, whatever it was that told you not to reveal this.
Right.
When you did reveal it.
Oh, that's got a hell of a twist too. Because it confused the hell out of me.
When you did reveal it, were there any negative?
No, not necessarily. That per
it.
se, but I seem to be reminded to shut up, but I'm not shutting up. And because I get so damn excited about the implications because of the reality of that being possible, that occurring.
See, Pete, my feeling is if you got something to say, say it.
Oh, yeah.
If you got something to say, you got
and
something
I
to share,
kind of did.
Say it. You know, there's going to be people out there that are going to believe what you say. There's going to be people out there that aren't going to believe. It's the same thing with me. Not everybody believes everything I say. You know,
what really did it for me was showing up.
Nobody believes.
I could take some ridicule.
You know,
I could take some ridicule.
Of course, yeah, we all do.
How can it not happen? It's the showing up for the wrong reasons thing. I did not want people showing up at Bachelor's Grove for the wrong reasons. We got people going out there right now, literally spitting on graves, trying to rile up the spirits, trying to get an interaction, some entertainment. You understand the mentality of these people?
That's number one.
If they're going to go out there with certain intentions, they'll behave a certain crappy way. That I don't want that.
That's very wrong. In the first place, you shouldn't be spitting on any.
Literally spitting on the graves.
No, see, that's not right. Because these are someone's graves.
And then actually,
think of it this way.
And then they start humping the headstone.
Oh,
I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Now think of it this way. These gravestones out there and all this, for all the hoopla about Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, I mean, this paranormal hotbed and all this and everything, nonetheless, these grave sites that are there, the ones that are remaining and all that, this was at one time someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's father, would you like anyone going to the cemetery and doing this to your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, whoever? No, it's a grave site. It should be respected.
And these people, you know what? You think you're dealing with dead people out there. I'm not saying it can't happen, but let me tell you, my experience.
It is a cemetery after all.
Well, it's going on beyond the cemetery. Yeah. It's going on beyond the cemetery. Look, take whatever I say is crap. That's fine, but you're not dealing with dead people. For the most part, you are not dealing with dead people out there. You need to approach this differently. You need to start expanding your mind, expand your consciousness. Get outside that box.
Now, right here, maybe this is up to you to maybe educate the folks on this, because this is something a lot of people don't do. Maybe it's up to you to educate people on this. That they need to
start learning how to sit down. For starters, learn how to relax yourself. I mean, you could do these techniques in an energized, angry state, or you can be in a relaxed state.
I think you're better off.
I'm not talking about Jedi, Star Wars crap. Okay, a lot of sometimes it can even sound this way.
We had the Jedi on. Wasn't last show you did? We had the gentleman on that. Attacked. He had the robe. He had the black robe.
Oh yeah, he had the Jedi robe thing.
Yeah.
Well, that was the makeshifty one. But no, you as a person,
I forget his name. What was his name? I forget.
Inner focus. Well, I can't give you the last name.
Well, whatever.
So actually, I ran into him about a week or so ago.
What was his first name?
Now you're making me blank. You're making me feel bad.
I can't. I can't forget. I forget his name.
Under pressure.
I'm so sorry, but the gentleman who he was, you came on the show.
I think the intention of me not wanting to mention his name is now blocking me.
A few months ago, he was on the show and he brought on one of the robes. He actually took off of one of these people that just had nothing better to do but go out there and scare folks at Bachelor's Grove, and he kind of put a stop to that. So I'm so sorry, sir. We can't recall your name, but thank you anyway for coming on the show and telling us your story.
I'm sure I'm blocking myself.
Yeah. And there again too,
this also brings me back to
I respect people's
else.
Anonymity too. If someone does want to come on the show or whatever like that and they don't want their name revealed, we do that. I've had that happen once or twice where someone said, "I'll come on, I'll talk about it, but I have to use a different name." And,
sure.
And that kind of thing. Okay, fine. Respect everyone's wishes.
Memory has been an issue. Obviously, when you get older,
Oh.
you know how the thing. Okay.
Well,
And
Pete,
one of my
sometimes
things-
you have a lot of things on your mind. You're
Why
working
I-
on 4 or 5 different things at once, and that's what happens. A lot of times things kind of meld one into
Some
the
things will
other.
never leave your mind,
Oh,
but
no.
you never know when some of those things, that you remember, like yesterday. One day, I've had friends that like went senile, so to speak, like they just forgot everything. Okay, they even forgot who I was, in our conversation.
Sure. Mhm.
Like they just did their Alzheimer's, right? So
I was just going to say
like,
sometimes
right,
it's
so it's
a
like
dementia or an
they
Alzheimer's
just-
or something. Unfortunately,
So,
you don't want to see
this
that
person
happen to
didn't have
anyone.
dementia
Yeah.
yet, as far as I knew. But I mean, it was really bad, and that kind of thing reminded me when I came back from Vegas and visited the Grove. I'm like, I really need to start talking, and even if I don't release videos or something, I need to get it on video because one day I could be Alzheimer's. And I'm gonna forget something.
What now? Now here, maybe see now what I just told
And I
you.
have
you're
been on the
saying,
side making
and you need to
small
start
videos.
talking about
I
this
have.
stuff and educating people on this and everything.
Yes.
Now you have no problem with doing the YouTube videos and putting those out there. and
No,
everything.
there are even
So why don't you
YouTube
feel-
videos
so
that
why do
are
you-
on private
so why do you,
that are not released
then
yet.
let me ask you, why would you feel that it would be a problem for you to address an audience and speak on the
Because
subject?
quite
and-
frankly, I don't think there's enough people that make a difference, and that's going to sound really like I'm a big jerk.
But you know what? No, Pete. Now
But
wait a minute.
for me to
You
go
know
out
what?
of my way, the way I've been treated at the Grove, the way I've been treated by the paranormal community in general, I find it disgusting. I find it absolutely disgusting what's been going on, at least in Chicago. Some of these people are just plain out disgusting.
But you know what, Pete? Maybe you're just running into the wrong people. For every 1 or 2 that you see that are that way, let me tell you, there's a whole lot of other nice people out there.
I know there are some.
And you know what?
And
If
I
you
do
a
run
talk-
into them.
If you do a talk with...
I
say-
do one-on-ones.
Just to give you an
I do a
example.
lot of one-on-ones.
Just to give you an example, if you do a talk with, say, a group of maybe 25 people, you give a talk.
See-
Okay, out of the 25, you haven't reached them all, but maybe you reached 2 or 3.
I reach better
That's fine,
one-on-one. I just reach better one-on-one. I will actually, like people at the Grove, I will do one-on-ones with them when I get that feeling. And then sometimes they'll start having stuff happen to them while we're just having the conversation. And they're just like, you got to be kidding me. And it's like, yeah. You know what, folks? Put the camera down for a minute. Put the audio recorder down for a minute. Take in the experience. Relax. Don't even think about the paranormal. Spend some real time out there. Not just 20 minutes. Hey, the mosquitoes will get me. I'm going to leave.
Sure.
Spend some time. Just be with nature. Be out there. And then suddenly some things will start happening. Take in the experience first. And then pull out the equipment. It's like, I find the one-on-one thing to be just so much more effective.
Well, see, I think part of the problem with something like Bachelor's Grove, it's already so famous. It has such a reputation
It is, and that's a
that
good
everybody
thing.
that walks down that path is expecting
And they have
something.
expectations. That's the great thing, too.
And
Like,
that's- yeah.
certain expectations,
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, I didn't hear about that happening.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you didn't. Because the Joe Schmo who wrote the book doesn't care about what's really going on out there.
Yeah.
Okay?
And in fact, in my book, if the book ever does end up getting published, I wrote a whole chapter about that, about that type
But
of thing.
you don't
about,
have
about
enough new
giving
information.
The tour and doing,
it's like if you're writing books, a lot of people don't even have the new information.
Well, if you're
And,
writing books about something that's been an old and ongoing thing for a
Oh,
long
they'll grab the
time,
last guy's book and then regurgitate it.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of
see
that. I'm seeing a lot
Right.
of rewritten things.
And
yeah.
when I was
Mhm.
doing the history of the Grove, collecting material, I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus, look at this guy repeated this over and over
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I'm like, this is how this story got started.
You know
I
what,
go
you-
talk to
you-
the
what
author.
Here's kind of what you see, and I agree with you on this. What you see is a book written on Chicago haunts,
Uh-huh.
and there's a whole chapter in there on Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Sure.
And that's fine. You've mentioned everything in there that needs to be mentioned,
Well,
and what you would like
whatever.
the public to. I mean, you're not going into
Yeah.
the details of the Fulton family and the history and all this and that.
No,
and
that's
that,
a side
you know,
topic
Yeah,
thing.
that's a whole book in itself.
Yeah.
But then next thing what you do is you see a book written just on Bachelor's Grove.
Sure.
And then again, the same things is repeated, and some of the stories are repeated again, and they're just
And a
maybe
lot of them
elaborated
are,
on.
yeah.
And that, and it's it's just sort of that way. And
It's not to say you can't gain some valuable intel on this thing. You can't you got some leads here. This is how this started. Maybe there's some truth, even if a lot of BS stories even start from some truth.
They all
So
do.
it's like
Yeah,
maybe
every,
you got
story,
some
every
leads
one
here.
of these stories, everything that I have researched and checked out in the paranormal, be that Resurrection Mary, be that the Lady in White, be
Yeah.
that Monk's Castle, whatever it is, St. James at the whatever it is, any of these stories I've checked out and researched and all that, somewhere somehow the story starts somewhere. It starts
then you
somewhere from
got
somebody
cases
seeing
where
something or someone experiencing
run out
something,
of
but then
information.
it gets very elaborated on.
Right.
You know.
Like these days. Oh, there's fairies at the Grove now. Oh, come on, man! Really? If
See,
you
this
just
is one
ran
of
out
the things.
stuff
This
to
is
write.
one of the things that prompted me to do a whole program there again, just to educate the public on it. on frauds, hoaxes, and phonies in the paranormal. Yeah, of which there are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot. There's a lot of legitimate stuff out there, but there's a lot of frauds, phonies, and hoaxes out there. And I have a whole program worked out on that, just to
And
let people know
maybe
that,
if I didn't care about the paranormal the way I do, then I wouldn't be making so many enemies when I come across people too. Like they pull this crap and I call them out on it. Like, dude, stop. You're lying. Your photo, I was there when you took that photo.
Oh, we're going to go back to that again.
You know, that kind of stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, don't be passing this crap off like it's with infrared. It looks like it.
I know. There's a lot of things out there that are this way, that way, and the other.
And then they'll turn around and say, "Oh, well, you weren't there." Oh, don't come on. Don't give me that crap.
It's hard to know, Pete. So much of what's out there, it's hard to know what is true and what's not true. It really is. It's very difficult
that's
to know.
why, for me, when me doing my thing out there, you spend enough time out there and you be around enough things, it's like you get the backstory. Like, you know what's true. Like the haunted Ouija board at Bachelor's Grove. I found the planchette and the board burning in the aftermath of the bonfire we had out there, the brush pile, whatever.
So now there's a haunted Ouija board.
Well, I saw the planchette, right, and I picked it up. Like, oh, that's really cool, the way it was melted. It had a unique thing to it. I just kind of put it down because I want to take this picture. I should have taken a picture of the planchette. And somebody comes out, like, online, some haunted, like, artifacts museum or something. And they wrote this elaborate, long
There again, see, somebody took a story and they added to
I mean,
what did we say?
It isn't just a couple paragraphs. It's like they wrote a book.
Yeah.
They spun it on some BS.
They take a little story, you've elaborated on it, you created.
And there's got to be people out there believing it.
You created a haunt.
Right. Oh, they wrote so much, it's got to be true.
Yeah.
Like, no. So anyway, I'm on a tangent, ain't I?
Well, that's nothing unusual for you. That's why I like having you on here.
You know.
You just, you're very candid. You're very honest. You speak your mind. That's why I love having you on here. Come on, anytime you like, Pete. I don't care what they say about you. You're okay by me. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say in closing?
Just expand your mind, folks.
Yeah.
Just expand your mind.
And I think you're missing the boat. Take it or leave it. Take my advice in vain.
Well, your convention or whatever you want.
No.
There are going to be people at that.
Not even talking at one of the conventions.
Okay.
If you want to talk to a crowd, if you want to even just volunteer your time and talk to people like that.
I think I'll still keep doing my one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I'll ever change my mind.
If you do 25 one-on-ones, and maybe out of the 25 one-on-ones you do, maybe you positively reach 5 people or whatever.
I've actually been reaching a lot more than that.
Yeah, so it's good.
It's because there's a lot of experiences that become personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond science.
It's
like if it was only raw science, you think I could be there at the right place at the right time, and I gotcha. But
sometimes you think you're the only one that's had some of these things happen to that. And when
I'm not the only one now.
I was going to say, when you start reaching out to other people, because I found this out myself personally. A lot of things I think, geez, why do I see this, or why does that happen to me, or why did I dream that, or whatever.
Why am I going through certain things?
Yeah, why do I have certain? And you find out there's other people that have the same thing. I had a very strange dream.
A lot of times we keep it to ourselves.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a very weird dream. I dreamt of 4 watches.
4 watches.
4 silver watches, silver pocket watches on chains.
That's going to have to be your interpretation.
I have no idea. I'll tell you something strange about this dream. 4 silver watches on, because I love pocket watches. I have a pocket watch with me tonight. I love pocket watches. Always did all my life. Mm-hmm. 4 silver pocket watches, very nice watches on chains. It's the autumn of the year. It's a very beautiful autumn day. The trees are beautiful colors, the whole shebang and all that. There's a person. Who the person is, I don't know. I'm buying the watches from the person. I have no idea what this dream means. Well, then, 3 days or 4 days later, I had the same dream again. But
now you need to pay attention.
But the second time, it was 3 watches.
Okay. Don't tell me you're running out of time.
Somebody told that to me. Somebody said
that's the first impression I got.
That's what somebody said. Somebody said that means you're running out of time.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. That's what somebody told me. This is you're running out of time. Yeah. Well, the time is running out, or you're finishing up something. You're tying loose ends, and you're finishing up something.
Again, that's going to have to be your interpretation.
I don't know. Yeah.
But
there again, strange thing. But you talk to somebody else.
It's probably just my common thinking. Oh, hey.
Yeah. Yeah, one person told me that. They said, it sounds like you're running out of time. I says, oh, geez, I hope not. I have bookings.
You're hearing it again.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm kind of enjoying life now. I want to be around for a few years here,
I used to not believe in the whole we don't live on kind of thing, or having a reincarnation.
Oh, I fully intend to. And when I go, I'm going to come back.
I've been thrown into some things that are just a complete, utter slap in the face, and I just have to come to terms with it. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, because I'm just that hard-headed, and life just threw.
What
some
do we
things
say
at
about
me
keeping
over
an
and
open
over.
mind, Pete? Don't close your mind.
I
to
know,
things.
I know.
Very intelligent
I know.
person to try.
No,
Don't
I
close
get
your
it.
mind.
I
Keep
get
your
it.
mind open
I
to
get it.
stuff.
It's just
Keep an open mind about things. Yeah.
I'm just so like, I don't want to say careful in my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I try to look at all the variables, like way too many variables, and I'm just really cautious on how I approach certain things because I want to make sure I'm headed down truth. I'm headed toward the truth.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think that's what we all strive for.
Like there's times when you get, well, I don't want to say the F word, but mind effed in some of these experiences. And it's like you have to learn the difference between your thoughts and other things and blah, 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 blah,
Sure.
blah. So I'm really careful about a lot of stuff.
Well, you have to kind of try to differentiate between what's good, what's bad, what, you know.
Well, the
I,
good,
I, would
bad
say,
thing-
I always say negative
what?
response or a positive response.
I
you
allow
know.
good and bad either way.
Yeah.
It's like you learn something either way. So
I learn something from you every time you're on this show, Pete. That's why I always ask you to
a
come back.
negative emotion.
Yeah.
And I mean, you saw the movie Carrie. She light fires, right? Well, I mean, negative emotion. I mean, it's an emotion and it's strong. I mean, you can use that negative emotion to achieve certain things in your physical reality, external of your body, and you can still do the same thing in a more pleasant, calm state. I've done this.
You know,
I've done this.
the thing,
outright.
Pete.
And so it's interesting.
There's that expression they say you catch more flies with honey than you do with
No, you
vinegar.
do. If you go the
You know what
negative
happens?
route,
You know
it's a
what?
shortcut. But let me tell you, it does have its
You know
repercussions.
what happens with negative people, with people that are negative and they're always they see only the bad in people. They
Oh,
see
that
only
kind
the
of
bad
stuff?
in the world.
Yeah.
Don't see the bad and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh.
And when you find yourself hanging around them, you start picking up on that.
Sure.
You start picking up on it because I noticed that because there are a few people that you come in contact with that are negatives.
Oh, if you don't
And,
like,
it
if you don't
starts-
like
it starts
something,
rubbing off on you.
You're,
And then
oh,
you
that
say,
part
and I say,
rubbing
well,
off.
you
You're
know,
talking about?
I got to start backing off.
Oh, I thought you were talking about picking up on stuff. If there's stuff you don't like and you end up coming near it, so to speak, you'll pick up on that easier than the things you
Ooh,
like.
yeah, that's for sure.
It's funny how that works.
The bad attracts you more than the you know.
I don't know if you say attracts, but
Well,
it's just
it does.
you're
You're
picking
drawn
up
to
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
You're like, well, you know,
Yeah.
you probably get what I'm saying then.
Well,
All right.
no, that's quite all right. Well, Pete, as usual,
it's
this was
already
a
an
fast.
hour.
I was going to say it was a fast hour, and it's always interesting with you. And
You were trying to close out. We didn't close out.
No,
did we?
that's all right. Don't worry about it. This
You like
happens all the
closing?
time. We run a loose ship here. Okay, folks, thank you so much again, Pete. Yeah, gosh, come back anytime you want. You're always a blast to talk with. I love talking.
glad to
I always
close
learn,
out the summer
I learn
for
I
you.
learn something to you every time. Yeah, if you ever want to meet Pete, just show up at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery on the weekends and Pete
Bring
loves,
your eggs.
Pete loves to come there.
you
Or
gotta
bring
throw
eggs now.
eggs at me,
Okay,
yeah.
no, don't throw eggs yet, Pete. No, don't do that. Just go out and say hi and shake hands and meet a new friend, and make your own judgments about people. Okay. Pete Crapia, that's his office.
Dun, dun,
Bachelor's
dun.
Grove Cemetery, Saturdays and
Yep.
Sundays. Pete's always out there.
Yeah, there's a
Thank
Sunday
you.
broadcast, and this actually, your show
Uh-huh.
will get re-aired on Sundays at the Grove.
Oh, cool. Okay,
I've
that's
been doing
good.
some of that. So
Well, okay, there again, I just want to make those announcements really quickly for everybody. The Ridgeview Park, they're having the Paranormal Vendor Fair type thing that will be on September 21st. You can give them a call again, 594-1818, 708-594-1818, if you're interested in doing that, or even if you're just interested in coming out and seeing it and want some more information on that. Graveside Paranormal, go up on their website, Graveside Tours, Graveside Paranormal, talk to Neil Gibbons, a great guy. Steve Lineweber, another great guy. Tommy Lineweber, Tommy's cool. I'm just messing around. Great bunch of folks to work with. They are doing a Paranormal Parapalooza September 7th, and this will be at Chet's Melody Lounge. Get the details for that. Stop by the Orland Park Library on July 23rd. It's a Tuesday night at 7 in the afternoon. I'll be doing a talk over there on the whole Sears Roebuck catalog and everything if you're looking for something different. Again, nothing to do with the paranormal on that. Then later on, I got more paranormal stuff coming up. We'll talk about that later. Tim Little, again, I'm reaching out to you, sir. We will be taking we'll be taking a hiatus here for the next 2 months, folks. So please continue to listen to Paranormal Radio. Listen to the broadcasts, one that you may or may not have heard before. Listen to those over the next 2 months, and then we'll be back on in September with a new show. And Tim, reaching out to you, sir. You want to come on as a walk-in sometime and just be a guest on here, or just kind of sit and observe the show? You're welcome to do it. He's kind of a fan of the show there, and we like to, I don't know what I say. We like to reach out to our fans. Okay, that's about all I have for that. Thank you, Mr. John DeVita, again, for allowing me to do these shows. It's always a joy. Everyone have a wonderful summer. Next week's the 4th of July. Did you realize that? Next week, Thursday, is the 4th of July.
that's when
Wow.
they celebrate my birthday.
Oh, you're born on the 4th of July?
Really close to it. At least when I was a kid, I thought they were
You're a
all
Yankee-
celebrating my birthday.
Yankee
'cause
Doodle Dandy,
The
huh?
family would celebrate my birthday on the 4th just to save some money.
So it was a 2-for-1, huh?
Yeah, right?
What were you, July 3rd, or?
I can't say. I don't want to say.
Oh, jeez, have mercy.
Well, I don't need any people taking credit cards out of my name, right?
I agree. Sometimes less information is better. Okay, that's all we've got to say for that. Everyone have a safe, wonderful summer. We'll see you again in the fall, folks. Thank you so much for listening to Paranormal Radio. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Paranormal Radio with Bob Tricek from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. Paranormal Radio was directed by John DeVita, and our special thanks to the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, Mr. John Shikanda. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Monday, June the 24th, the year 2019. Until next time, friends, please be safe and thanks for listening.